Greetings, Wildcats. This is Mr. Robbins from the library, here with another First Chapter Friday for this week. This one is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It is The Inheritance Games. Avery Grams has plans for her future: survive high school, win a scholarship, and get far away. But when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves Avery nearly his entire fortune, her life changes in an instant. The problem? Avery has no idea who Tobias Hawthorne was or why he would leave her his fortune. To receive her inheritance, Avery must move into Hawthorne House, which is filled with secret passages, puzzles, codes, and the family that Avery just dispossessed. Avery will have to go up against Tobias's scheming daughters and 4 grandsons who are convinced that she's either a con woman or another puzzle to be solved. This sounds like a fascinating story. If you are interested in looking at this on your Chromebook, go ahead and head over to your class link, open up the app called Macinvia. It's got kind of a rainbow pinwheel there. If you can't find it on your Launchpad, try clicking this plus sign in the top corner there. Type in the first few letters of Macinvia, M-A-C-K. It'll show up. Your button here will say Add. Once you click Add, it will show up on your Launchpad, and it will look like this. Once you click on that, it will take you into Macinvia, and you can either look at different categories of ebooks that you might like to read, or you can simply explore ebooks, audiobooks, and read-along books. In your backpack, you can favorite some books, and that's what I've done for this book. I added it as a favorite. It's right down here, The Inheritance Games. I'm going to click Read Now to open it up, and let's just take a look at the first chapter only. Chapter 1. When I was a kid, my mom constantly invented games. The quiet game, the who can make their cookie last longer game. A perennial favorite, the marshmallow game, involved eating marshmallows while wearing puffy Goodwill jackets indoors to avoid turning on the heat. The flashlight game was what we played when the electricity went out. We never walked anywhere. We raced. The floor was nearly always lava. The primary purpose of pillows was building forts. Our longest-lasting game was called I Have a Secret, because my mom said that everyone should always have at least one. Some days she guessed mine, some days she didn't. We played every week, right up until I was 15, and one of her secrets landed her in the hospital. The next thing I knew, she was gone. Your move, princess, a gravelly voice dragged me back to the present. I don't have all day. Not a princess, I retorted, sliding one of my knights into place. Your move, old man. Harry scowled at me. I didn't know how old he was really, and I had no idea how he'd come to be homeless and living in the park where we played chess each morning. I did know that he was a formidable opponent. You, he grumbled, eyeing the board, are a horrible person. 3 moves later, I had him. Checkmate. You know what that means, Harry. He gave me a dirty look. I have to let you buy me breakfast. Those were the terms of our long-standing bet. When I won, he couldn't turn down the free meal. To my credit, I only gloated a little. It's good to be queen. I made it to school on time, but barely. I had a habit of cutting things close. I walked the same tightrope with my grades. How little effort could I put in and still get an A? I wasn't lazy. I was practical. Picking up an extra shift was worth trading a 98 for a 92. I was in the middle of drafting an English paper in Spanish class when I was called to the office. Now, girls like me were supposed to be invisible. We didn't get summoned for sit-downs with the principal. We made exactly as much trouble as we could afford to make, which in my case was none. Avery, Principal Altman's greeting was not what one would call warm. Have a seat. I sat. He folded his hands on the desk between us. I assume you know why you're here. Unless this was about the weekly poker game I'd been running in the parking lot to finance Harry's breakfast, and sometimes my own, I had no idea what I'd done to draw the administration's attention. Sorry, I said, trying to sound sufficiently meek, but I don't. Principal Altman let me sit with my response for a moment, then presented me with a stapled packet of paper. This is the physics test you took yesterday. Okay, I said. That wasn't the response he was looking for, but it was all I had. For once, I'd actually studied. I couldn't imagine I'd done badly enough to merit intervention. Mr. Yates graded the tests, Avery. Yours was the only perfect score. Great, I said in a deliberate effort to keep myself from saying okay again. Not great, young lady. Mr. Yates intentionally creates exams that challenge the abilities of his students. In 20 years, he's never given a perfect score. Do you see the problem? I couldn't quite bite back my instinctive reply. A teacher who designs tests most of his students can't pass? Mr. Altman narrowed his eyes. You're a good student, Avery. Quite good, given your circumstances, but you don't exactly have a history of setting the curve. That was fair. So why did I feel like he'd gut punched me? I am not without sympathy for your situation, Principal Altman continued, but I need you to be straight with me here. He locked his eyes onto mine. Were you aware that Mr. Yates keeps copies of all his exams on the cloud? He thought I'd cheated. He was sitting there, staring me down, and I'd never felt less seen. I'd like to help you, Avery. You've done extremely well, given the hand life has dealt you. I would hate to see any plans you might have for the future derailed. Any plans I might have? I repeated. If I'd had a different last name, if I'd had a dad who was a dentist and a mom who stayed home, he wouldn't have acted like the future was something I might have thought about. I'm a junior, I gritted out. I'll graduate next year with at least 2 semesters worth of college credit. My test scores should put me in scholarship contention at UConn, which has one of the top actuarial science programs in the country. Mr. Altman frowned. Actuarial science? Statistical risk assessment. It was the closest I could come to double majoring in poker and math. Besides, it was one of the most employable majors on the planet. Are you a fan of calculated risks, Miss Grams? Like cheating? I couldn't let myself get any angrier. Instead, I pictured myself playing chess. I marked out the moves in my mind. Girls like me didn't get to explode. I didn't cheat, I said calmly. I studied. I'd scraped together time in other classes between shifts later at night than I should have stayed up, knowing that Mr. Yates was infamous for giving impossible tests, had made me want to redefine possible. For once, instead of seeing how close I could cut it, I'd wanted to see how far I could go. And this was what I got for my effort, because girls like me didn't ace impossible exams. I'll take the test again, I said, trying not to sound furious or worse, wounded. I'll get the same grade again. And what would you say if I told you that Mr. Yates had prepared a new exam? All new questions, every bit as difficult as the first. I didn't even hesitate. I'll take it. That can be arranged tomorrow during third period, but I have to warn you that this will go significantly better if you... Now, Mr. Altman stared at me. Excuse me? Forget sounding meek. Forget being invisible. I want to take the new exam right here in your office right now. Now, I don't know about you, dear reader, but I like that main character. She's already shown that she's got some spunk, and she's willing to push back when she thinks she's being treated unfairly. This looks like a really good book. If you enjoyed chapter 1 and you would like to read on chapter 2 and maybe even further, pull it up on your Chromebook with Mac and Via, or we may even have a physical copy in your school library. Be sure to stop in and see, and maybe some other books by this same author. Again, this is The Inheritance Games. It is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I hope you enjoyed this week's First Chapter Friday, and I'll be back in a week to record the next one. See if we can find some great books for you to read. Have a great weekend, Wildcats. We'll see you soon in the library. Take care.